Hi everyone, so today we are going to be doing the 7th challenge of the Cyber Hackathon series, and this would be the first challenge of the OS exploitation category or the part. Actually, this isn't actual OS exploitation and more of boot to root, right? Like the casual hack the box, one hub, or try hack me server types, right? So let's get started. First of all, these two are on the same adapter, I guess, on the same network adapter. Let me just confirm. So settings, net. Yeah, it is net, and looking at here, this one is on the same one, right? So first, let's do a ping sweep and find out a live IP or a host in the network, and that would be the IP of this machine, right? So we can do that with the -sm flag, and we can specify the whole subnet. And we have multiple IPs here. 131 is ours. This is the DHCP server, and I think this is what we need. So let me just confirm. Yeah, I think this is that. So as always, because we do not have anything here, and I think the one thing we can do here is just start with a GoBuster scan and do directory searching or fuzzing and try to see if there are any hidden directories or files which might be of interest to us. So let's just do. So we have multiple commands. I would not run anything with extensions for now, right? So we have. Sorry about that. Sure. Donotskipme. We need to specify the IP over here. So while that is scanning, right? So it was just my intuition that we have port 80 here because we usually do, but sometimes you don't, right? You do not have any port or anything to start with. What do you do in that case? Okay, that was really fast. So what do you do in that case? So in that case, you do an nmap scan of open ports which you can enumerate, or you can have fun with, right? Maybe the HTTP server itself doesn't have anything. So for that, -p would do a full port scan, and that would be the IP. You do not have to pass any flag for that, and then we would run safe scripts or common scripts, and then we would do version fingerprinting with -sv. As far as I remember, I think, yeah. And a little bit verbose for -v, and we have 4 ports open so far. That would be Samba server if this is Linux. Right, so we have SSH here, that could help us. And let me just, and got it right, looks beautiful. Alright, so SSH, we have Apache, and we have HTTP robots, and cool, it has some entries which are disallowed, right? It doesn't want us to see those. So let's first of all just take a look at it. We also have our GoBuster results over here. So 403, 403, 200, 200. Index or HTML is something which we have already loaded. So robots.txt is what interests us. Alright, cool. So we have one of the first flags here, right here. So I think I can open gedit and write all of those down. Right, and the path is robots.txt. Right. This just to know that where we found what flag, because this machine in general has 7 flags, and we are I myself found 6 so far, but it has 7. So if you find the 7th one, you are the lucky guy, I guess. Alright, so if you look at here, right, I explored these directories. I wouldn't waste my time doing that again. I ran GoBuster against these directories, but if you just put one and one together here and look at this, these look like some kind of credentials, right? So we do know that we have SSH port open, and then we also have Samba SMBD server running, right? Maybe we can try and authenticate here, or we can try and authenticate through SSH, right? This is just something to try. First, you have to definitely exhaust all your options. You have to go through every directory. Do not miss anything, right? Don't think that definitely this is something we need to work with that. But just in case, to try these as well, and I did. So first, let's try doing SSH against the host. Where can I find the IP to copy? Let me just copy that, paste that in here, SSH, and that would be the password. If we give it a try. And there we go, that didn't work, right? So that is not the end of thing. So the second thing we want here is to take a look at this these 445 port open here. So you can actually use enum for Linux to actually enumerate everything we have here. If there are any directory listings, let's say there is some tree which is listable, or if you can try and enumerate UIDs or user IDs, right? It does allow you in some cases to find out the local users existing on that machine. So maybe we can use those to reverse and stuff, right? So let's just do enum for Linux -a to run all of the checks. And okay, I need to copy the IP and going back there. There we go. And it is quite fast. So while it is running one pub, we'll just go through the results. Okay, so going forward. It does allow null sessions, I think. Yeah. And then it is no use in Linux, I guess. So, and then going forward, we have the Ubuntu host here. And then going forward, we have one of the users account test here. You can see that, right? So we can try the credential here as well. And I tried to list these, but it had some issues. It ran into some issues here. These are the password configuration policies going forward. Oh, there we go. So we have like 4 users here. This is Hunter, Test, Maker, and Clark, right? So maybe we can try and authenticate with those users, or maybe try brute forcing ourselves our way in. But again, we have to exhaust all our available options, right? So we have those credentials kind of thingy which look like that. So we can try and authenticate here. So we can use SMB map for that, as far as I remember. And let's take a look. So it is really easy to use. We can just give it a try. So SMB map -this. I'm going to add those in quotes because this dollar is going to break the string. And then we have the host. And here I'm going to copy the IP I have. There we go. So, and I think it connected, right? So we need to see what else we can do with this, right? So we just connected, right? Yeah, that's it. But what next, right? So list all drives on the specified host. Does it? I think it does that automatically by itself. Okay, wow, that didn't return anything. And then we have to recursively list drives and contents, make the operator friendly, list only directories, only files. We can try maybe these things one by one, I guess. If we do -r, oh, there we go. So we did get the directory listing, and this tree or share isn't of use to us. This right here is of use to us. If you can just see, we have a file pass.txt. We have maybe a possible hint, and then we have a flag, and this is something. Oh, this is another tree which we cannot access, right? So let's try and fetch the file pass and flag and hint. How can we do that? We can again take a look at help, and how do we download? Okay, there we go. So we download and specify stuff like this. Okay. So pass a flag there, and that would be, I think, shares / okay, the file is directly there. So does it download that? Okay, it did. That's cool. And the next thing I'm going to do is hint and then flag1.txt. Flag1.txt. There we go. So taking a look. There we go, we got the second flag, and that would be from, I think, shares flag1.txt. Alright. And then we have a hint here. Okay, so we have a possible MD5 hash, I guess, against this user Clark, right? And what is this? Okay, that looks like a word list. So do we have to like reverse the hash, right? Just think creatively, right? We could use rawq against the hash we have here, or we could, just Google it, right? We do remember that there was a user Clark when we ran enum for Linux, right? Clark, Hunter, Test, and some other user, I don't remember. So maybe the first thing you want to do here is do a quick Google search and see if right before trying to manually correct stuff. So where is the tab? Here it is. So there we go. So correct station is the best one, which I like the most. And I have to give the captcha. Stairs. I think that's it. Okay, so nothing here. Now let's give it a try with let's give a try with this pass.txt file, right? What we have here, because it is a large file actually. And then the second thing we are going to do is try and give it a go with robots.txt, right? So I'm just going to remove John, the pod file before, because it is just going to show us that it has been cracked in the past. So I'm just going to pass this as it is, and then I'm going to pass rollers, because it is in that format, username and colon hash, right? So that makes it easy for John. And this is the role list. It ran and you didn't find anything useful. Let's try and specify the type here, which is format RMD5, and there we go, it worked. So the password for Clark user is this. I'm just going to store that here for future references. Clark. So let's try an SSH using the user Clark, right? We do have the IP here already. So SSH Clark and that IP, and then we have this here. There we go, it worked. We can take bash, right? So that was sh, and it isn't directory. So there's no home directory currently for Clark, but let's just take a look inside home first. All right, so again, before doing some local enumeration, running some scripts, right, there is LSC, and then there's lin in many scripts out there. But first, try and do some manual enumeration. That might help at times. So let's just do a find dot and see what we have here. So we don't have permission to read the hunter directory. Okay, this is the same which we enumerated through the SMB, and then we have maker. Can we read that? All right, we can. We can read that, right? We do have access. Okay. So our user has access to it. That's cool. The user maker himself doesn't have access to it. All right. Weird. So this is the third flag, and I'm going to mark this one as well. Okay, version history is always interesting to look at. All right. We also have a zip file here. We'll take a look at that as well. And there we go. We also have a password for the user maker. That is, bashes is always fun to look at. All right, so we can use this password to, I guess, log in as the user maker. I'm just going to type that over here for future reference. The hash is there. So now let's take a look at the file zip. So if we go into maker, can I create something? Okay, I can. So that is my old file which I made there. Alright, so I think we can just unzip that here. Okay, we don't have access to that. So what we can do here is just SCP, and we can download the file through SSH protocol locally, right? And then unzip that, right? That makes stuff easier. So that would be Clark at, what is the IP? There it is. And then we want the file from maker, read.zip, and we want it to be downloaded. So the password for user Clark is that, and it says that is just the error which it gives when we SSH, right? But there we go, it downloaded the file, and we can unzip that and take a look. Okay, so it is a password here. Again, before we can actually try and crack the password for the zip using John or something. But again, before doing stuff like that, try and use the credentials you already have. And there we go. We got a file here which is Deep.jpg. So I'm going to take a look at it. So it looks like a dragon, I guess. What's that? Okay, so let's try and take a look at it before try and run some steganography tools, right, to find secrets inside the image. Like visually, I didn't see anything. I'm not sure there was a flag written there, but just to be dumb, the first thing you want to do always on a binary file or image or stuff you find in a CTF, like not in real life, maybe in real life also, but in a CTF you want to do that. And when you do that, you get a flag, and there we go. So that was from Deep.jpg or jpeg, I guess. And so we have like 4 flags here. That's cool. So I think we are missing from the 6 flags I gathered. We need like 2 more flags. Alright, that's cool. So now let's try and see if we can actually split our privileges. I would just sue the user maker, right? I will try and log in through him, make this bash, and we do not have access to our on home, right? Sad. So let's go back in home and see if we can maybe access Hunter's directory. Okay, we still cannot access Hunter or anything he has done in here. So now what our resort is going to be is we are just going to run lin enum or lsc, whatever you want. Let's do that. Right, lsc github. I sure hope it shows up. Okay, it did. I personally like this. I love the coloring in it. But you can use lin enum.sh as well. Maybe we can give it a try as well. So since our machine has internet access, I'm just going to copy one of these commands. I hope curl is in here. Okay, it is. So just run lsc.sh, and it says tell the password of this user. That is one of the good things. So I'll just run some authenticated checks as well. And we want to make it more verbose. You can do that with, I think, levels. Yeah, there is. So level 2, I just want everything to be run, right? You can also run specific checks as specified here, but I want to run all of the checks. There we go. Again, paste the password, and I will go through stuff. It'll take some time. For that time, we'll just take a look at it, what we have. Okay, so we have this kernel version. What is the date of the build? Do we get that? I don't see that here. Alright, so current user groups, maker, villain, and then administrative groups users, admin, sudo. So Hunter is actually an admin, and Hunter test. So both of these they have access to the sudo group. So we get the credentials to one of these, and we can actually run sudo. So we can try the credentials of test. Sometimes they have disabled password login, or they have disabled the SSH for that specific user. Maybe those credentials were not working. Maybe we can try sudoing with that. And this you see here is one of the entries I added. So just forget this line, right? I should have reset it again, but no worries. So going down, down, and down, we have other users. What is that? Yes, this is. Again, just skip that. Think like it's not there, right? So writable files outside user zone. This is what interests us. So these are 10 files which you don't want. Some snap packages which we can write. That's cool. But if you take a look at over here, right? So that is the interesting thing. We can override or write to that sector password file, which we saw above. Spoiler. Should have given a spoiler, right? So what can we do with this, right? So what sector password usually manages is the user, its group, its directory, and its permissions, right? It checks the user ID and the group ID. So if our user belongs to the group ID 0, that means that our user has access to whatever access the root user has, right? And in Linux, root user has all access. There it is, right? So what we are going to do essentially is add our user and give him UID 0, that will be user ID 0, and then GID 0, group ID 0, so that it belongs to the root group. And then there is a specific way to write a sector password. You have a column empty here, X, that is for if you want to add the password in sector password. So usually the passwords are in sector shadow, and we do not have access to it, right? So only root user and shadow group has access to it. So root, I think it is the own user, groups, and others. So and then we have user IDs and GUIDs here. This third one I think is a comment you add, right? Like what is the user. The fourth thing is the directory, and the fifth thing is the shell, which he gets access to when he logs in using the credentials. So since we have access to a sector password, let's just go ahead and override file, right? We can do that. Since we can do that, let's do that. So I'm just going to open a command I have over here, which would be, let me just find that. So this is a file where I keep all my commands. It gets handy. So it would be to, I think, generate, yeah, there it is. Right, so you have to generate a specific hash using OpenSSL for whatever user or password you want, right? You can do that, and then you will pass that on this second thing here, right? It was like pentest x or user x in that extra password file, and this is the directory, the home directory of the user, and this is the shell is going to get access to, right? So we can just use this hash or the one we already had. I will just copy paste this, or I will just show you. I think it would be random because we have a salt there, right? Yeah, it would be random, but again, if it decrypts that against whatever we pass, it'll work. So just copy that, paste that in here, and write that into extra password. So the pentest user already exists. I would just name this pentest2. There we go. So see that we have the password pentest123. So let's try. Oh, I'm sorry. This is my local machine. We have to do that in this machine. So I'll just write that, and it has written that into the extra password file, and there we go, right? So we can just do so like we accessed login user using the user maker. We are going to log in using the user pentest2. So the password is pentest123, and there we go. We are officially root. Awesome. So we have the fifth flag here. All right, we have a file which is really interesting. It says donotskipme, and we are not going to skip that. So I'm just going to write that over here. That would be root flag.txt. I don't think so we need to add a slash here. It'll just break this whole formatting. All right, there we go. We got 5 hashes, and for the 6th one, let's take a look at this file. First of all, what is it? That is a 64 file, and we have a segmentation file. So before analyzing that, again, just run strings on it and see whatever we can access, whatever is readable. Oh, this looks like a flag, but just go above. If we take a look at this over here, and on port. Alright, you can see that this binary belongs to netcat, but I'm not sure why it's not working or executing. You see that temp.c.xxx. So going forward, and we have one of the flags, right? So I'm just going to write that here, do not skip me. Good. And there we go, we got 6 of the flags. I mean, if you want to count this as a flag, I'm not sure if it does, right? It says like .debug something, but I'm just going to copy that as well and see if this is MD5 length. Oh, these are the same. I didn't notice that. So we have 1B here. How are these the same? Oh, I'm sorry. Really sorry. These are not the same. Alright, so I think that is it. I didn't find the 7th hash. Fox did tell me that there is a 7th hash, or the 7th flag, but I didn't get access to it. Also, I didn't have the official PDF, right? They said that it just mentioned that there are 7 hashes you have to find, or flags. Since I didn't participate in this OS exploitation series, I just did network, Android, and speed programming. So sorry about that. So I'll see if I get the PDF, but I'll also upload this VM with the video, and I think that would be it. These are the flags. First, we found the first flag from robots.txt, the second flag from enumerating the SMB tree, and then we had there and the shares directory, and then we found Clark user's credentials from same tree, and then we ran John to find the password for the user Clark against the hash. We logged in using user Clark, and then we got access to user maker using the bash history file, and we got the 3rd flag. For the 4th one, there was a zip file. We just decrypted, unzipped the file using the password as same as the user Clark. That worked. Again, always exhaust all your options, right, before going full noisy, running enumeration scripts, decrypting stuff, wasting your time, right? So, and then we found that a secret password is writable by the user maker, and we wrote that, overwrote that, and we actually wrote our new user into that, generated a hash and wrote it over there. And then we had a binary in the root directory that was donotskipme, a netcat binary, and it had one of the flags and its contents. So that is it. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.